Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela 1918–2013 was a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader, and philanthropist who served as the first black president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. His journey began as a young lawyer who joined the African National Congress (ANC) in 1944 to fight racial injustice. In 1964, he was sentenced to life imprisonment for conspiring to overthrow the apartheid state during the infamous Rivonia trial. From his prison cell on Robben Island, he became a powerful global symbol of resistance and the fight for equality. After 27 long years, he was finally released on February 11, 1990, amid increasing international pressure and civil strife. Remarkably, he chose the path of peace and negotiation, leading historic talks to end apartheid and establish multiracial democracy. In 1993, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, alongside South African President F.W. de Klerk, for this work. Elected president in 1994, he focused on national reconciliation, championing forgiveness over vengeance. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to help heal the wounds of the nation. Mandela's legacy is not just that of a freedom fighter, but a global icon of forgiveness, dignity, and unwavering hope. Freedom is not given, it is won. The struggle for justice is the noblest duty of every human being. I never lose. I either win or learn. Courage is not the absence of fear, it's inspiring others to move beyond it. A nation cannot be free until its people are free from fear. Justice delayed is justice denied. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. The path to freedom is paved with sacrifice. A man who takes away another's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. Freedom is meaningless if it does not include the freedom to be different. The law must serve the people, not enslave them. No chains are stronger than the will to be free. Real leaders use power to liberate, not to oppress. Justice is not a privilege, it is a birthright. Oppression is fragile when people unite. The oppressor's weapon is fear, the oppressed weapon is hope. Freedom without equality is just another form of injustice. No man truly knows freedom until he fights for it. The struggle is my life. Without justice, peace is only an illusion. Every generation must discover its own mission of freedom. Freedom is not for the few, it belongs to all. A free society is judged by how it treats its weakest members. Our march to freedom cannot be stopped by prisons or bullets. True freedom begins when justice is equal for all. Courageous people do not fear forgiving for the sake of freedom. A man without freedom is a shadow of himself. The enemy of freedom is silence in the face of injustice. The road to freedom is long, but the spirit of justice never tires. Freedom is the foundation of dignity. Justice is not served until the last person is free. Oppression cannot crush the human spirit forever. Freedom demands responsibility as much as it promises rights. No prison walls can hold the idea of justice. The most powerful weapon against oppression is unity. Freedom is the light that guides nations out of darkness. Justice and freedom are twins. You cannot have one without the other. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Injustice anywhere threatens freedom everywhere. The jailer of freedom is also a prisoner of his own fears. Freedom is achieved not by words but by actions. Only the brave can taste the sweetness of freedom. Justice is the heartbeat of freedom. Without justice, freedom becomes chaos. The quest for freedom is the noblest journey of mankind. Freedom cannot survive without truth. The chains of injustice break when courage rises. A life without freedom is not a life fully lived. Justice gives freedom its strength. Freedom is the right to live with dignity and without fear. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. Racism is a wound that disfigures the soul of humanity. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin. Reconciliation is not forgetting the past, but refusing to be its prisoner. Forgiveness liberates the soul, hatred enslaves it. Apartheid was a system that denied humanity itself. Racism thrives on ignorance, equality thrives on understanding. The Rainbow Nation is built on acceptance, not division. Hatred chains us to the past, reconciliation frees us for the future. True reconciliation requires justice as well as forgiveness. A society that tolerates racism cannot call itself civilized. The color of the skin should never define the value of a person. Reconciliation is the bridge from oppression to peace. We do not seek victory over each other, but victory over injustice. Racism is learned, and therefore it can be unlearned. Unity in diversity is our greatest strength. Reconciliation is impossible without truth. A divided nation cannot prosper. Healing begins when we choose dialogue over violence. The future belongs to those who reject racism. Reconciliation is not weakness, it is the highest form of courage. Racism is the enemy of peace. Justice without reconciliation breeds revenge. We must free ourselves not only from oppression, but also from the mentality of hatred. The greatest weapon in the fight against racism is education. Reconciliation is not an event, it is a lifelong process. A nation's greatness is measured by how it treats those it once oppressed. No peace can be lasting if racism still exists. To reconcile is to choose humanity over division. The oppressor and the oppressed are both dehumanized by racism. Reconciliation begins with listening. Racism imprisons the mind more than the body. We do not erase the scars of the past, we learn to live with them in peace. Reconciliation gives the past meaning and the future hope. No reconciliation is possible without equality. Racism diminishes not only its victims but also those who practice it. To forgive is not to forget, but to choose peace over vengeance. Our humanity is bound together beyond race and color. Reconciliation is the art of building bridges between hearts. The chains of racism are broken when people embrace diversity. We cannot change the past, but we can change how we live with it. Racism has no place in a society that calls itself free. Reconciliation requires patience as much as courage. The victory over racism is a victory for all humanity. A reconciled nation is stronger than a divided one. Hatred blinds, reconciliation opens eyes. Racism is the enemy of human dignity. Forgiveness is the seed, reconciliation is the tree. A reconciled heart can heal a broken nation. The triumph of reconciliation is the triumph of humanity itself. Freedom cannot be achieved unless women have been emancipated. Gender equality is not a favor, it is a right. No society can truly prosper without empowering its women. The liberation of women is the liberation of humanity. Women are the foundation of peace in every society. A nation that oppresses its women cannot call itself free. True freedom respects the dignity of both men and women. Equality between genders is justice at its core. The strength of a community is measured by the respect it shows to its women. Empowering women means empowering generations. No one is free until all women are free. Gender oppression is as unjust as racial oppression. Human dignity knows no gender. A society that silences women silences half of its wisdom. Equality must be lived at home before it can exist in the nation. Women's voices must be heard in the halls of power. To deny women their rights is to deny humanity its future. Gender equality is a victory for all, not just for women. Respect is the foundation of dignity, for both men and women. A free society must protect the dignity of every woman and every man. Women's struggle is not separate from humanity's struggle. Equality is not achieved by words but by action. No girl should grow up believing she is worth less than a boy. Justice demands that women and men stand as equals. A free nation is one where daughters have the same dreams as sons. There is no dignity in excluding half of humanity. Women are not guests in society, they are co-builders of it. The rights of women are human rights. To honor women is to honor life itself. A world that excludes women cannot achieve peace. Equality is the path to dignity. The liberation of women enriches the freedom of men. A society that uplifts women uplifts humanity. To empower a woman is to empower a community. No discrimination is more destructive than denying women's worth. Human dignity shines brightest where equality is respected. Women's strength is humanity's strength. Justice cannot exist without gender equality. Men and women are two wings of the same bird. Equality in the home is the foundation of equality in society. A child who sees equality will grow to defend it. The dignity of women is the dignity of all humanity. No true democracy can exist without gender equality. When women rise, nations rise. Equality is not charity, it is justice. To respect women is to respect humanity's future. A society that values women is a society that values life. Gender equality is not an option, it is a necessity. No liberation is complete without the liberation of women. Human dignity demands that women stand shoulder to shoulder with men. I never lose hope, for hope is the lifeblood of freedom. It always seems impossible until it is done. Hope is the strongest weapon of the oppressed. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. The legacy we leave is not in wealth, but in the lives we touch. Hope is the seed of every great change. Leaders are remembered not by their power, but by their service. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell and got back up again. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Hope turns prisoners into dreamers of freedom. Courage is born from hope. The world honors those who choose reconciliation over revenge. Hope is a light no prison can extinguish. A life lived for others is a life worth living. Our legacy must be a society where children can dream without fear. To inspire hope is the greatest gift a leader can give. The hope of freedom kept me alive through the darkest nights. True legacy is measured in how much love we leave behind. Hope is the bridge between struggle and victory. The most important legacy is the belief that change is possible. A man's greatness is not in what he owns, but in what he gives. Hope has the power to heal even the deepest wounds. We owe our children a life free from fear and hatred. Legacy is not carved in stone, but in the hearts of people. The triumph of hope is the triumph of life. Let your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. Hope is the music of the soul. The best way to build a legacy is to live with integrity. A nation's true wealth is the hope it gives its people. Hope makes the powerless powerful. Our greatest legacy is the freedom of future generations. Hope is a flame passed from one generation to the next. The measure of a leader is the hope he inspires. The road to legacy is paved with sacrifice and love. Hope is the language that all humanity understands. We live not for ourselves alone, but for those who come after us. The hope for justice is the seed of peace. Legacy is built not in years, but in values. Hope is the courage to see beyond the present. The light of hope shines brightest in the darkest times. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived, but the difference we have made. Hope transforms despair into determination. The true legacy of a nation is its people's humanity. Hope is the mirror of the soul's resilience. A man dies when hope dies, not when his heart stops. The legacy of freedom must be guarded by every generation. Hope is the thread that weaves the fabric of a just society. My legacy is hope, hope for freedom, hope for equality, hope for humanity.